We tend to focus on the shiny, user-facing side of tech. The phones, the laptops.
Yeah.
But the real workhorse stuff, the backbone of it all, it's usually hidden away, bolted to a wall somewhere, just doing its job. And that's what we're looking at today. This little box, the NTI USB-C5-200-IND.
It's basically the industrial nervous system. You've got the computer, the brain tucked away in a safe, clean room. And then you have the hand, a scanner, a keyboard, a touchscreen way out on a hot, dusty factory floor. This thing bridges that gap.
And it's not as simple as just plugging in a bunch of extension cords from the store, right? We're talking about extending USB signals over network cables, CAT5, CAT6. This unit claims it can push 4 devices up to 200 feet away.
Which is a huge deal. I mean, a standard USB cable dies at about, 5 meters, 16 feet? After that, the signal just degrades into useless noise. So this system has to completely break down the USB signal, send it over the copper wire, and then perfectly rebuild it on the other side.
Right, and that rebuilding part is where it gets tricky. I was looking at the data sheet, and that 200 feet number, it has some serious asterisks next to it. It really seems to depend on the cable you're using.
Oh, absolutely. It's all about signal integrity. If you're using standard CT5e cable, the cheap stuff most offices are wired with, you're going to hit a wall at about 180 feet. And that's for basic USB 1.1 speeds.
Because there's too much interference.
Exactly. Too much crosstalk. There's just not enough shielding in CT5e for that distance. To hit that full 200 feet, the specs demand CAT6 or even KT7. The shielding is just so much better. It keeps the data packets from getting, garbled.
And what about speed? Does that change things?
Speed is the other big trade-off. If you're trying to push USB 2.0 data, which is way more bandwidth intensive, well, that shortens the leash.
Yeah.
Even with the best KT7 cable, they cap reliable transmission at 180 feet.
A good reminder that even with smart hardware, copper still has its physical limits.
It does.
So speaking of the hardware, we have to talk about the price. This thing lists for $405. That seems steep. Steep for just moving a mouse to the other room.
It does, but then you look at the build quality. The IND in the name stands for industrial. This isn't a plastic consumer dongle. You're paying for a steel box that's built like a tank.
And for resilience, I assume.
You're paying for resilience. This unit is rated to operate in temperatures up to 158 degrees Fahrenheit, 70 degrees Celsius.
Which is huge in a factory. You mount this up in the rafters near some heavy machinery, and it's going to get hot fast.
It'll cook standard electronics. And then there's the invisible killer, static electricity. This unit has high-grade electrostatic discharge immunity built right in. You're paying to make sure one little spark doesn't fry the connection and shut down an entire assembly line.
That don't break the line idea seems to carry over to compatibility too. It explicitly supports systems like Windows 2000, Solaris, even Sun Microsystems. In the consumer world, those are dinosaurs.
Right, but in the industrial world, they're daily drivers. You don't replace a $500,000 CNC machine just because it runs on Windows 2000. It's not an option. So you need gear that can talk to that old tech. This extender is plug and play, no drivers. The old computer doesn't even know it's there.
It just sees a device plugged in. It even calls out a specific touchscreen, the HP Compact L2105 emitter, which tells me it's used a lot for KVM setups, keyboard, video, mouse.
That's a huge use case. The operator gets a screen and mouse right where the work is happening, but the delicate, expensive PC is safe and sound 150 feet away. It's just a really pragmatic solution to a very physical problem.
It's funny, isn't it? We spend so much time talking about wireless tech, 5G, Wi-Fi 6, but when reliability is the only thing that actually matters, we still turn back to a rugged metal box and a good old-fashioned copper wire.
Wireless is convenient. Wires are reliable. When a glitch can cost you thousands of dollars a minute, you always choose the wire.
Something for you to think about next time your Bluetooth headphones drop out. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
My pleasure. See you next time.